For nearly a decade, the greatest athletes on Earth attempted to do the impossible, run a single mile in under 4 minutes. And for nearly a decade, every single one of them failed. Not because their bodies weren't capable, but because their minds wouldn't let them. This is the story of how one man shattered the most famous barrier in sports history and proved that the only thing standing between you and the impossible is belief.
In the early 20th century, running a mile in under 4 minutes was considered the holy grail of athletic achievement. But it wasn't just considered difficult, it was considered physically impossible. The world's leading medical experts and sports physiologists declared that the human body was simply not built to sustain that speed for that distance. They warned that attempting to do so could cause the heart to explode under the pressure, that the lungs would collapse, that no human being could survive pushing their body to that extreme. The record stood at 4 minutes and 1.4 seconds. It had been stuck there for 9 years. 9 years of the world's best runners throwing everything they had at this barrier. 9 years of failure. The 4-minute mile became more than a record. It became a wall, a psychological prison that no amount of training or talent seemed able to break through.
Then came Roger Bannister, and here's what makes his story extraordinary. Bannister wasn't a professional runner. He was a full-time medical student at Oxford University, squeezing his training into 30-minute lunch breaks between classes. But because he was studying medicine, Bannister understood something that eluded every other runner on Earth. He understood that the 4-minute barrier was not a limitation of the human body, it was a limitation of the human mind. While other runners trained harder, Bannister trained smarter. He analyzed his biomechanics, he visualized the race, he broke the mile down into quarter-mile segments and calculated exactly what pace he needed to maintain. And most importantly, he convinced himself, truly convinced himself, that his body could handle the stress.
May 6th, 1954, Oxford, England. The conditions were terrible. It was cold. The track was wet. 15-mile-per-hour crosswinds tore across the course. Bannister almost called off the attempt entirely. But just before the race, the wind died down. Bannister looked at his 2 friends who would pace him and made his decision. He would go for it. From the starting gun, Bannister pushed himself harder than he had ever pushed before. His pacemakers carried him through the first 3 quarters of the mile, and then he was on his own. The final quarter was pure agony. His lungs burned, his legs screamed, his vision began to narrow. As he crossed the finish line, Bannister collapsed. Temporarily blinded by exertion, he crumpled into the arms of a spectator. The announcer grabbed the microphone. The crowd fell silent. He began to read the time. Ladies and gentlemen, the time was 3. The rest of the announcement was drowned out by the roar of the crowd. They didn't need to hear the rest. They already knew. 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds. Roger Bannister had done what every expert on Earth said was impossible.
But here is why this story matters. Here is why it has become one of the most important moments in the history of human achievement. For 9 years, not a single person on Earth could break the 4-minute barrier. But just 46 days after Bannister broke it, an Australian runner named John Landy ran the mile in 3 minutes and 58 seconds, faster than Bannister. Within a year, 3 runners broke the 4-minute barrier in a single race. Within a few years, dozens had done it. Today, over 1,700 athletes have run a sub-4-minute mile. High school students have done it. Did human evolution suddenly leap forward in 1954? Did training methods drastically change in 46 days? No. The only thing that changed was belief. Once Bannister proved it could be done, the psychological barrier was shattered forever. Runners around the world finally gave themselves permission to do what they had always been capable of doing.
This is what psychologists now call the Bannister effect. And it doesn't just apply to running. It applies to everything. think about your own life. What is your 4-minute mile? What is the goal you've abandoned because everyone around you said it couldn't be done? What dream have you given up on? Not because it's truly impossible, but because you've been told it is. Your limitations are not physical. They are mental. And the moment you choose to stop believing in the barrier, you will discover what Roger Bannister discovered on that cold, wet track in Oxford. You were always capable. You just needed permission to believe it. And now, you have it.